if you know where someone is on this scale, this one scale, and it has a number, where do they live on it, you can predict how they're going to behave in an argument, how they handle money, whether they'll keep their word or not, whether they're safe to be in business with, if you should have a relationship with them. And that scale exists, and it's called the tone scale. Okay? Tone scale is an emotional scale, and there's all different kinds of emotions on it. So here is the full version, which you learn about when you study various courses. There you go. But it also has some basic levels that every Scientologist will pretty much know what they are. But it's going to tell you how people will behave. So if they're always angry about something, well, they're going to handle money a certain way. They're going to be in business a certain way. If they're always antagonistic, like always fighting at the enemy, they have a certain way of operating. What number is that? The higher the number, the more survival it is. And the cool thing about this scale, and this is well known among Scientologists, is that you also live somewhere on the scale, and you can be brought up this scale. The higher you are on the scale, the better outlook you have on life, the more persistence, the more courage, the higher ability to communicate you have, the higher level of understanding you have of people, of business, of everything. And the higher you are on the scale, the more you will survive. So, I'm going to cover kind of like the basic parts of the scale, what they are and what they're called, and then I'm going to give you a course that you can do for free that will help explain this whole subject to you. So at the bottom you actually have body death. That's 0.0. Just above body death you have apathy, where the guy is just kind of staring at the wall. That's my acting for today. And then just above apathy you have grief, or crying. Person is really sad, maybe had a big loss or something like that. And that is 0.5 on the scale. All of these are well known by Scientologists, by the way. Above that you have fear. Someone is scared all the time. Something might happen. There's something that, could cause them to get hurt, or there's some danger there. Fear is 1.0. Above that, just above that, is 1.1. This is very well known among Scientologists because there's actually a level on the scale where someone pretends to be your friend. Very dangerous for artists to have friends like this. Someone is your best buddy. Here, take these drugs. You'll feel better. They're covertly hostile. They're not openly hostile. They're hiding their hostility towards you, but the hostility is there. They're thinking it. They hate you, but they put on a smile. Very tricky level, and if you don't notice it and you don't know what it's all about, you could get fooled. Above that you have anger. Someone is just getting angry all the time about this and that. Do you want a type of person like that in your life? You probably don't. And if you live a lot in anger, you need to work on getting yourself up the scale so that you go on to the next higher level. The next higher level is 2.0. That's antagonism. So this is someone that is like kind of fighting at things all the time, yelling at things. Not quite super angry, but still fighting at things. Life is a struggle. It's something to attack. If you have someone that lives at that level, or you live at that level, you should work on getting yourself to a higher level. The higher level after that is called boredom. Boredom is 2.5. So boredom is not really like winning or losing. It's neither. It's kind of just like blah, and a lot of people live in blah land, like some teenagers or some people you might know. Not much is going on, and nothing much will happen in their life, and if they keep living in boredom. Above boredom is a level called conservatism. Conservatism is like a caution. You're not really taking any risks. You got to hold on to what you have. It's what it is. You can't change it, and you're just going to stay where things are. And some business people are in this realm, and no risk is going to be taken. And without risk, you don't really win in business, do you? You have to take some risks. But if you live in caution, you should try and bring yourself up to the next level, which is 3.5, called cheerfulness. Cheerfulness is where you're laughing. You're having a great time. Imagine living your life in cheerfulness. It is possible. You can achieve that. And Scientology auditing, which is it's called the counseling is called auditing, can bring you up to these levels above cheerfulness. Now it starts to get really interesting. There is something above that. At 4.0 is called enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is where you're just beyond interested in something. You're like really going for something. Maybe you know of some people that when they do a certain thing or they're involved in some cause, they're extremely passionate about it. They're enthusiastic about it. I know a few of these people. They're great to be around. Very high survival level. And that's enthusiasm. Imagine living in enthusiasm. It is possible. And there are even higher levels. Exhilaration is 8.0. Above that, games, which is a very intense, extremely high level survival emotion. And it's really only attained, I don't know, I'm going to give you my opinion, somewhere in the distant future. It will happen though. People will achieve these levels. And then way up at the top, 40.0 is serenity of beingness. It's at the top of the scale, where you're just peaceful, calm. You could take a breath for an eternity, and everything is just beautiful, you know. But that's also way into the future, in my opinion. Maybe some people will achieve it before that. But where do you live on this scale? Especially if you look down at all the little levels in between. Well, you live somewhere. Let's bring it up to a higher level. So just go to your local church, and I told you there's a free course. There is a free course, volunteerministers.org. You can do this course, and you will learn on who to trust, who not to trust, because you can pick where they are. They're somewhere. Everybody's somewhere on this level, on this scale. And if you know where they are, your own survival and your prediction is going to be much higher. And if you can get yourself up this scale, you're going to be in a good spot. Thanks for watching. Leave a share, leave a like. Appreciate you watching to the end.